Genius Kids. Cultivating love for learning.
Lesson 13. Our Universe. Knowledge Acquisition. After completing this chapter, we will be able to know about the different forces of nature, different heavenly bodies in the solar system, the internal structure of the Earth, physical characters of the Moon, the gravity as the force that keeps plants, the Earth in orbit around the Sun and the Moon in orbit around the Earth, causes of 4 phases of Moon. We see many objects and few events taking place in the sky. Man has always been fascinated by the various objects in the sky which make up universe. All heavenly bodies in the universe attract each other by the force of gravitation. The closer two bodies are, the greater the force of gravitation acting between them. This force of gravitation causes the planets to move around the Sun. The solar system. The solar system consists of the Sun and its planetary of 8 planets and their moons. The solar system is shaped like a disk and forms a tiny part of galaxy called the Milky Way. The 8 planets, that is, Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus and Neptune, revolve around the Sun in a fixed elliptical orbit. The planet-like objects made of lumps of rocks are called asteroids, or minor planets orbiting mainly Mars and Jupiter. Bodies of dust and frozen gases called comets. All planets have almost circular orbits that lie within a nearly flat disk called the ecliptic plane. The solar system is also home to a number of regions populated by small objects. The Sun. It is the star at the center of the solar system. It is almost perfectly spherical and consists of hot plasma. It has a diameter of about 1,392,684 kilometers. It is at a distance about 149.6 million kilometers from the Earth. At this average distance, light travels from the Sun to Earth in about 8 minutes and 20 seconds. The energy of this sunlight supports almost all life on the Earth by photosynthesis and drives Earth's climate and weather. The enormous effect of the Sun on the Earth has been recognized since prehistoric times, and the Sun has been regarded by some cultures as a deity. An accurate scientific understanding of the Sun developed slowly, and as recently as the 19th century, prominent scientists had little knowledge of the Sun's physical composition and source of energy. This understanding is still in development. There are a number of present-day anomalies in the Sun's behavior that remain unexplained. The planets. A planet is the second largest space object in solar system. The planets revolve around the Sun in fixed elliptical orbits. They reflect the light of the Sun. 8 planets have been discovered in our solar system. Mercury, Venus, Earth and Mars are the planets closest to the Sun. They are called the inner planets. The inner planets are made up of mostly of rock. Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus and Neptune are the outer planets. These planets are large balls of gases with rings around them. The Earth. It is the 3rd planet from the Sun and densest and 5th largest of the 8 planets in the solar system. It is also largest of the solar system's 4 terrestrial planets. It is sometimes referred to as the blue planet. The Earth formed approximately 4.54 billion years ago, and life appeared on its surface within 1 billion years. Looking at the internal structure of the Earth from a cross-sectional point of view, we can identify three main parts. Core. It is the very center of the Earth and is subjected to extreme temperatures and pressure. The inner core is solid and made of iron and nickel metals, while outer core is semi-liquid molten iron metal. Mantle. The mantle is made up of rock materials and is sandwiched between the core and the crust. It consists of mainly solid rocks, but the upper mantle is actually a layer of semi-liquid molten rock called magma. This magma flows slowly underneath the crust. Crust. It is a relatively thin outermost layer of rocks that floats above the mantle. It is made up of solid rocks which are divided into the continental and oceanic plates. These plates fit together like pieces of a puzzle. The Moon. The Moon is the only natural satellite of the Earth and the fifth largest satellite in the solar system. It is the natural satellite of a planet in the solar system relative to the size of its primary, having 27% the diameter and 60% the density of Earth. The Moon is the second densest satellite after Io, a satellite of Jupiter. Surface of Moon. The Moon is a ball of grey rocks which are covered with dust. Its surface is made up of mountains and plains. Huge soccer-shaped holes are scattered over the surface of the Moon. They are called craters. The scientists believe that they are caused by the crashing of meteorites, huge pieces of rocks, on the surface of Moon. From Earth, the large flat areas, called lowlands, appear as dark patches, while the highlands appear as bright areas. Due to the absence of an atmosphere, the surface of the Moon becomes extremely hot during the day and extremely cold during the night. With no air, there is no sound or wind to stir the rocky dust. Without air and water, no life can exist on the Moon. So, the Moon is a still, barren and lifeless place. Phases of the Moon. The Moon does not have its own light. It reflects the light of the Sun. When the Moon phases between the Earth and the Sun, sunlight falls on the part turned away from us, and so the Moon is not visible to us. It is called solar eclipse. Every night, the illuminated part grows in size till we see the full moon on the 15th day. From the next day, the illuminated part decreases in size and becomes completely invisible on the 15th day. This is known as the new moon day. From one new moon to another, it takes roughly 30 days, and this period is called a lunar month, lunar related to the moon. The part of the moon visible to us is called the phase of the moon. The moon and the tides. Tides are periodic rises and falls of large bodies of water caused by the gravity of the moon and the sun. When the water level falls, it is called low tide. Each day there are 2 high tides and 2 low tides. It takes about 6 hours for the falling water to reach low tide. The sun, the moon, and the earth are in one line during a full moon or a new moon. Their combined gravity causes higher than normal high tides on these days. Artificial satellites. Artificial satellites are man-made objects which revolve around the Earth just as the Moon does. The Earth's only natural satellite is the Moon. Like the Moon, artificial satellites reflect the sunlight and can be seen clearly in the night sky. The space age began in 1957 when the first man-made satellite Sputnik was launched to orbit in space by Russian scientists. Since then, thousands of satellites have been sent into space. On 12 April 1961, Major Yuri Gagarin of Russia became the first man in the world to go into space. Valentina Tereshkova of Russia was the first woman to go into space. On 3rd April 1984, Squadron leader Rakesh Sharma became India's first man to go into space. Aryabhat, launched in 1975, was the first Indian satellite. Bhaskar, Rohini, Apple, Inset 1A, Inset 2B, Inset 2C, Inset 3B, Inset 3C, Inset 3A and Inset 3E are other Indian satellites. In April 2008, India launched Cartosat 2A, ISMO sensing satellite into space. Uses of artificial satellite. An artificial satellite is one of the most useful things for mankind. Different kinds of artificial satellites are designed for different purposes. Continuous review. The solar system is shaped like a disk and forms a tiny part of galaxy called the Milky Way. There are 8 planets revolved around the Sun in a fixed elliptical orbit. The diameter of the Sun is about 1,392,684 kilometers. Light travels from the Sun to the Earth in about 8 minutes and 20 seconds. Planet is the second largest space object in solar system. The Earth is the 3rd planet from the Sun. The Moon is a natural satellite of the Earth. An artificial satellite is one of the most useful things for mankind. Valentina Tereshkova was the first woman to go into space.
Like, share and subscribe.